The Fprintf function is used to print out formatted data. This second format the second F in Fprintf stands for formatted. The first one stands for file, but we're not going to cover that in this class. So there's one way to use Fprintf. You essentially just do this, Fprintf, and then you have what's called your formatted string, your formatted specification. If you are just printing out text, that string is just whatever text you're printing out. Now, keep in mind, it prints out everything character by character. So there's a lot more control over how we print out data using Fprintf, how we print out text using Fprintf. If you're printing out just a string, there's some additional things you want to know. These are called escape sequences. They help control the white space. So white space is essentially when you press enter, how many tabs you have, spaces. There's a couple escape sequences. I highlighted a couple here. \n is used to type a new line. So this is essentially as if you pressed enter. So if you're printing out some string, you would say fprintf, print out data, and then you would close your string. This will print out P, then R, then I, then N, then T, then space, then O, then U, then T, then space, then D, A, T, A, and then stop there. It will not press enter. It will not go to a new line. If you want to go to a new line, you would type \n, and then it will go to a new line. So you have a lot of control over how you want things printed out. If you want to tab something, if you want 4 whatever spaces, you would do \t. You can also just press space a million times. Since \ indicates an escape sequence, if you want to print out any of these characters, a single \, a single %, or a single quote, you would type 2 of them. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to print out any of that stuff. So if we're just printing out a string, we just type it and add in any \ns anytime we want to press enter, or \t anytime we want to tab or space things apart. If we want to print out text and data, it gets a little more complicated, but essentially we just tell the Fprintf function where we want to insert data by using something called an escape formatting operator. So we have escape sequences that control our white space. We have formatting operators that tell us we want to insert some data. Once again, we're generally talking about a single number at a time. So some scalar data. A formatting operator starts with a %, and it's used to indicate I want to insert some data here. And then it's followed by a conversion character, which tells us what type of data. It also tells us how to print it out. Specifically, if we want to print it out with scientific notation, or if we want it to choose between floating point notation and scientific notation. But essentially, we're just saying fprintf, enter in some text. If I want to insert data, I just say %, and then I choose one of these characters. So if I'm printing out an integer, I would choose %d or %i. Both of those will work. If I'm printing out a floating point number or a number with values past the decimal point, then I can have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. I choose this one a lot because it's just basic F for floating point. If you want scientific notation with a lowercase e, it's this one, uppercase E is this one. And if you want some more compact version, you can use %g. But generally, I like to use %f, although you can play around with any of them. So anytime you want to insert text, you just say %, whatever type of text or type of data. So if it's a floating point number, it would be %f, and then follow it by more text. So whatever that looks like. Then you need to tell it which data you're going to insert. So you just say comma, and then some variable that contains the data. So Fprintf will print this out letter by letter. So then a T, then E, then X, then T, then space. And then it's going to insert some data. The data it inserts is from this variable. And then it prints out space, then T, then E, then X, then T. If I wanted to do a new line, I would say \n. And there's a lot more control we have over how to print out these numbers using conversion specification. So there's 3 additional options. We have control over how much space to use with the width, and also how many digits past the decimal point we want to control with the precision. There's a couple options for the flag, but we're not really going to cover those. Those aren't as useful. And we will cover all of that with lots of examples during lecture.